The longest government shutdown in U.S. history has entered day 25. President Trump says he's not backing down and is calling on Democrats to stop playing politics. House Republicans emerged from a White House meeting with President Trump, bashing their Democratic colleagues in a letter to Mr. Trump. Several Senate Democrats urging the president to meet with federal workers impacted by the shutdown and also calling on him to bring it to an end. Congress is expected to cancel next week's recess if the government is still shut down. The impacts of the government shutdown impacting those who work hard to help others hurting or those in need. For days now, the Carousel-Center, who aids victims of assault, has known they will not have any help from federal funding that is supposed to go towards them. Our Andrew James joins us now in studio with more.
Well, Amanda, there's a side of the shutdown many see. The TSA agents, the Coast Guard, federal prison, or other Department of Justice personnel or Homeland Security personnel. But there's also those nonprofits, the food banks, or the victim service centers, some that now have had their budgets flipped upside down.
It's not what's happening there, it's happening here too.
The Carousel Center is a safe haven and resource for abused children and teens. Last week, they got the message no nonprofit wants to read.
You probably don't have to hurry to get any more reimbursement requests in because we're not going to be able to process them anyway for payment until the government is back in functioning order.
Executive Director Amy Feith says they worked hard to qualify for not one, but 3 grants. That money now frozen because the Department of Justice is shut down.
What's frustrating is that we did the competition. We scored high enough to be awarded the grant award.
Even more frustrating is how much funding that takes away from their effort to provide a friendly but critical space for victims as well as law enforcement.
This funding is the bulk of our operational expenses.
It equals up to $500,000 annually now that's tied up. The grants account for nearly half of their budget.
You count on being able to submit that monthly reimbursement request because that's what you're making payroll.
Even with the funding in limbo, the center remains open.
We have not had to look at pinching pennies yet. But again, we're already talking about how are we going to put off major purchases until we're back into a ability to get our reimbursements.
Feith credits good budgeting. That's keeping them active now. But she estimates at least 2 months of costs will not be repaid to them anytime soon.
We will be here regardless.
Now, the Carousel Center begins their fundraising campaigns in 1 month. Until then, they ask anyone who wants to help to reach out to them on how they can do just that. Amanda?